The shadow in the trees, it started like any other summer afternoon. The sun sat heavy in the sky, hanging above tall pine trees that stretched like fingers into the clouds. The small town of Evergreen Ridge was quiet, hidden deep in the mountains. Just a few hundred people lived there. Most days felt the same, peaceful, slow, and full of nature's hum. But that afternoon would change everything. 3 boys walked through the forest trail that ran behind their neighborhood. They weren't supposed to go too far, but adventure had its own pull. The oldest was Tyler. He was 13, tall for his age, and protective like a big brother even though he wasn't one. Next was Malik, 11, a quiet kid who always noticed things others missed. And the youngest, Noah, was 9, full of energy and wild ideas. They called themselves the Mountain Hawks, even though their adventures were mostly climbing trees and throwing rocks in the creek. That day, they brought peanut butter sandwiches, 2 bottles of water, and Malik's old compass. They joked about finding buried treasure. They didn't expect to find a man. They had hiked past the bend in the trail, deeper than usual. Birds chirped less. The air smelled different, damp, like something had been disturbed. Malik stopped first. "Do you hear that?" he whispered. "Hear what?" Noah asked, still bouncing a rock in his hand. "Something like breathing." Tyler frowned. "A bear." But Malik shook his head. "It's not that. It sounds human." They followed the sound, careful with each step, until they saw something that made all 3 of them freeze. A man lay at the base of a tree. He was alone. His leg was bent at a strange angle. His face was pale. His eyes were closed. Tyler rushed forward. "Sir, hey, are you okay?" The man didn't respond. Malik bent down, placing his ear near the man's chest. "He's breathing, shallow, but breathing." "What do we do?" Noah asked, suddenly quiet. "We can't leave him here," Tyler said. "No one ever hikes this far. If we go back and get someone, it might be too late." Malik looked around. "We need to wake him." Tyler gently tapped the man's face. Slowly, the man stirred. His eyes opened just a little. They were soft, tired, but familiar. Tyler gasped. "Wait, I know him." Malik leaned in. Noah squinted. "Is he someone famous?" The man whispered something. It was weak, barely a sound. "Water," he said. Noah pulled a bottle from his bag and held it up. Tyler helped him lift the man's head. He drank only a little before closing his eyes again. "We need help," Malik said. "Right now." Tyler nodded. "I'll run back," he said. "You just stay here." But the man opened his eyes again and grabbed Tyler's wrist. "No police," he whispered. Tyler stared. "Why not?" The man closed his eyes again, too weak to answer. Malik sat down beside him. "Then we don't call police," he said. "We just help." Tyler hesitated, but something in the man's voice had sounded scared, not of pain, but of being found. So Tyler nodded. Double quotes, "Fine. We help. Just us." For the next 3 hours, they stayed in the forest. They cleaned a cut on the man's forehead using water and a torn shirt sleeve. They built a small shade out of branches to block the sun. They took turns talking to him softly, hoping he would stay awake. At one point, Noah whispered, "Do you think he's a bad guy?" Malik shook his head. "I don't think so." "How do you know?" "Look at his hands," Malik said. The man's hands were rough, scarred, but his fingernails were clean. His palms were bruised, like he had tried to fight something off. And yet, there was no fear in how he looked at them. "He trusts us," Malik said, "even though we're just kids." As the sun began to dip behind the trees, Tyler stood up. "We have to move him. He can't sleep out here tonight." "But where?" Noah asked. Tyler thought hard. Then he remembered his uncle's old hunting cabin abandoned, not far from where they were. No one had used it in years. "There's a cabin about 15 minutes that way," he said, pointing west. "Do you think we can get him there?" Malik asked. "We have to." They took their shirts, tied them into ropes, and made a sling between 2 branches. Carefully, slowly, they helped the man onto it. He groaned but didn't stop them. Step by step, they carried him. They reached the cabin just after dark. It was dusty and cold inside, but it had a roof. They placed the man on an old mattress and covered him with their jackets. "We'll come back tomorrow," Tyler said. "Bring food, medicine." Blankets. The man opened his eyes once more. His lips moved. Thank you, he whispered. Malik nodded. We'll come back. They left the cabin quietly, hearts pounding, heads full of questions. Who was he? Why was he alone? What had happened in those woods? And why didn't he want the police? They didn't know. Not yet. But three boys had made a choice that day, not to run. Not to be afraid, but to stay. And that choice would change everything. Because 3 days later, a black SUV would pull up to Tyler's driveway, and nothing would ever be the same again. The man in the cabin. Next morning, the boys met again behind Tyler's house just after sunrise. The air was still cool. Birds chirped lazily as the light crept between trees. None of them had slept well. Too many questions, too much wonder. They carried everything they could: blankets from Malik's house, canned soup from Noah's kitchen, a first aid kit Tyler had taken from his dad's truck without asking. They also brought a flashlight and a small battery-powered fan from Noah's room. What if he's gone? Noah asked as they walked toward the cabin. Then we'll know he could move, Malik said. But I don't think he will be. What if someone took him? Noah added. Then we'll find out, Tyler replied. But we said we'd come back, and we're not breaking that. After 30 minutes of hiking, they reached the cabin. They stopped at the edge of the clearing, hearts pounding. The door was still closed. You go first, Noah said. Why me? Tyler asked. Because you're the leader. Tyler rolled his eyes but stepped forward. He knocked once. Silence. He knocked again. Then, from inside, a voice answered, low but clear. Come in. Tyler opened the door slowly. The man was still there. He sat up on the edge of the mattress, his leg resting stiffly on a pillow made from folded jackets. Someone had lit a small fire in the stove. The room was warm. His eyes met theirs. He smiled. You came back. Noah grinned. Of course we did. We said we would. Malik stepped inside and set down the food. How are you feeling? Better, the man said. Thanks to you. They helped him eat a little soup. He moved slowly but seemed stronger. His voice was clearer. What's your name? Tyler asked. The man hesitated. Then said, John. Malik raised an eyebrow. Just John. The man smiled. For now. The boys looked at each other. They didn't push. Instead, they cleaned the cabin, aired out the musty sheets, and patched a hole in the window with plastic from Tyler's backpack. Why were you out there? Noah asked quietly while folding a blanket. John looked at him for a long time, then said, I was running. From what? People, he said. People who wanted something I couldn't give them. Malik asked, were you in danger? John nodded slowly. Yes. They sat in silence. Noah whispered, Are you a good guy? John looked at each of them. Then said, I'm trying to be. Tyler stood up. That's enough for us. They spent most of the day helping John get comfortable. Before they left, John handed Tyler a folded piece of paper, just in case. He said, if something happens to me before you get back, give this to the sheriff. But only if you don't hear from me. What's in it? Tyler asked. Something that will keep you safe. Tyler tucked it in his backpack without another word. They promised to return again the next morning. And they did. For 2 more days. Each time, John was a little better. Stronger. Clearer. He still didn't explain who he really was, but the boys started to trust him. He told stories about climbing mountains, surviving harsh places, meeting people who lived with nothing and still gave everything. His voice was steady, and there was kindness in his eyes. Noah said, You sound like someone in a movie. John smiled. Sometimes life feels like that. Then, on the 4th morning, things changed. Tyler was in the kitchen when he heard a car pull into the driveway. A deep, slow engine. He looked out the window. A black SUV. Shiny. Silent. It parked right in front of the house. A man in a suit stepped out. Dark sunglasses. Slicked hair. He didn't look like someone from Evergreen Ridge. He looked like someone from a different world. Tyler single quotes as mom opened the door. The man spoke softly, politely. Ma'am, he said. I'm looking for your son, Tyler. Tyler froze. His mom looked back into the house. Double quotes Tyler. She called. Someone's here to see you. His heart raced. He walked to the door slowly. The man extended his hand. My name is Mr. Ramos. I was sent by someone very grateful. Grateful? Tyler asked, for what you and your friends did. Tyler didn't answer. He didn't know what he was allowed to say. May I speak with you outside? Mr. Ramos asked. Tyler nodded and stepped onto the porch. Your actions helped someone very important, Ramos said. Someone who was in danger. Someone who trusts very few people. John? Tyler asked. Ramos smiled gently. His name is not John. But yes, is he okay? He's safe now. Because of you. Ramos opened the SUV door. Inside sat a silver briefcase. He pulled it out and handed Tyler a small envelope. This is for you and your friends and your families. Tyler opened it. Inside was a letter. It read, Dear Tyler, Malik, and Noah. You may not know who I really am, but you saw me as a person, not a problem. You helped me when no one else would. You listened. You trusted. You saved my life. I can never repay what you gave me in those woods, but I hope this is a start. Thank you for staying. Who is he? Tyler whispered. Ramos looked serious. You'll know soon enough. He handed Tyler a business card with no phone number, just an address, and a symbol that looked like a hawk. If you ever need help, Ramos said, go there. Then he got into the SUV and drove away, leaving behind questions and something more. When Tyler opened the briefcase later that night with Malik and Noah beside him, they found something unbelievable. Inside were 3 handwritten letters, 3 scholarships to any school they wanted, and a note that said, kindness is the strongest thing in the world. Use it well. They looked at each other in shock. Noah whispered, was that Keanu Reeves? Malik blinked. What if it was? Tyler smiled. Then we helped a good man, and we do it again. The secret behind the mammoth briefcase sat in the center of Tyler's living room, like it didn't belong. Noah kept staring at it, eyes wide like he was dreaming. Malik said nothing. He just kept running his fingers over the soft edge of the letter they found inside. The words kept echoing in their heads. You saved my life. Use it well. The 3 scholarships inside were real paper, real signatures, even a golden seal. But none of it made sense. They were just kids. They weren't supposed to be heroes. They weren't supposed to carry secrets this big. Tyler finally broke the silence. We need to find out who he really is. But why? Noah asked. He's safe now. We did our part. Malik nodded. Still, don't you wonder? We should know. Tyler picked up the letter again. At the bottom, the signature was just 1 letter. KBUT. Something about it felt familiar. Then Tyler remembered something. Wait, he said. What did John mean? He say when we brought him soup, he talked about climbing mountains, right? He said something about being stuck on the edge of a cliff for 2 days. Noah nodded, and he told that story about giving his coat to a stranger in Canada. Malik frowned. Why does that sound familiar? Tyler stood up and grabbed his dad's tablet. He typed something slowly. Canadian actor cliff story gives coat stranger. Hit search. The results filled the screen. At the top was a photo. The same face they had seen in the cabin. The same gentle eyes. The headline read, Keanu Reeves once again shows quiet kindness during winter accident. They all froze. Noah gasped. That's him, Malik whispered. John was Keanu Reeves. Tyler sat down slowly. We helped Keanu Reeves. For the next few days, the boys kept their secret. They didn't tell their parents about the true identity. They didn't show the briefcase to anyone except Tyler's older sister, Maya, who promised not to breathe a word. She only said one thing after reading the letter. Most people wait their whole lives to do something that matters. You 3 already did. Then one afternoon, a manila envelope arrived in Tyler's mailbox. There was no return address, just his name written in perfect handwriting. He opened it and found a printed invitation. You are invited to a private weekend in Los Angeles. Transportation and guardianship included. Further details provided upon acceptance. Attached was another handwritten note. You kept my secret. Now let me show you mine. It was signed with the same K. Tyler called Malik and Noah right away. We're going to law, he said. What if it's not safe? Malik asked. He saved our lives too, Noah said. This is safe, I know it. After some careful conversations with their parents, who still didn't know the whole story, the boys were given permission to travel. An official-looking woman came to pick them up. She said she worked with a private security firm. Her badge was real. The flight was booked. The arrangements were careful. And when they stepped off the plane, everything felt like a dream. They were driven through the city, past tall palm trees and glittering buildings. But the car didn't stop at a hotel. It drove up into the hills. And there, hidden behind large gates and a quiet path of stone and ivy, was a house unlike anything they'd ever seen. It wasn't flashy. It was peaceful. Calm. The kind of place someone would go to escape the world. As the car pulled to a stop, a man stepped out of the front door. He wore jeans and a gray shirt. His hair was tied back. His eyes were kind. It was Keanu Reeves. He walked toward them slowly. "Hey," he said. "You made it." Noah ran forward and hugged him without asking. Keanu laughed. "That's a first." Tyler stepped forward. "So it really was you?" Keanu nodded. "Thank you for keeping me safe," Malik asked. "Why were you in the forest?" Keanu looked serious for a moment, then said, "I was meeting someone. It didn't go well. I was followed. I had to disappear, and I guess the forest was where I ended up." Tyler asked, "Why didn't you call for help?" "Because I didn't know who to trust," Keanu said. "But then I met you." He led them inside. The house was simple, filled with books, old guitars, and walls covered in art from different parts of the world. It didn't feel like a celebrity's home. It felt like someone who lived quietly and honestly. Over dinner, Keanu told them stories, real ones, about growing up, about loneliness, about losing people he loved, about why he believed in kindness. "I've been through pain," he said, "but when people showed up for me, it saved me. I promised myself I'd do the same for others." Noah said, "That's why you didn't want to be found." "I didn't want the world to see me weak." Keanu said, "But you didn't treat me like I was weak. You treated me like I mattered." He looked at them closely. "You're good kids. But more than that, you're brave." He stood up and walked to a small shelf. He pulled out 3 identical boxes. Inside each was a silver pin shaped like a hawk. "You called yourselves the Mountain Hawks, right?" he said. They laughed, surprised. "I want you to keep these," he said, "to remind you that even small wings can carry someone far." They took the pins with quiet hands. Something inside them had shifted. They weren't just 3 kids anymore. They were part of something bigger. That night, the boys slept in a guest house behind Keanu's main home. They stayed up for hours, whispering about the future, about kindness, about courage, and in the morning, before they left, Keanu walked them to the car. "This won't be the last time we talk," he said. "But what you do next, that's what matters." Tyler asked, "What should we do?" Keanu smiled. "Find someone else who needs help," he said, "and stay." The car drove off slowly, back toward the city, and as they looked back, Keanu raised his hand, not as a movie star, not as a rescued man, but as someone who believed in them, and that belief would carry them into something none of them expected. Because, back home, something was waiting. Something big. And they were about to find out what. The message in the mail the morning after the boys returned from Los Angeles. Evergreen Ridge felt different. Not louder, not busier. Just more awake. It was like the trees themselves knew something had changed. The forest that once held their secret now stood taller, prouder, as if the woods were guarding more than just roots and rocks. Tyler sat at his kitchen table, staring at the silver hawk pin in his hand. Malik was already texting him. "Malik, we have to tell someone. Maybe our teacher." "Tyler, tell them what?" "We saved Keanu Reeves." "No one will believe it." "Malik, doesn't matter. It happened. It's part of us now." Noah showed up at Tyler's door an hour later with a backpack full of supplies. "You ready to go back to the cabin?" he asked. "Why?" Tyler replied. "I don't know. It feels like we should. Like something might be waiting." So they did. The 3 of them walked through the same forest trail, but this time with different hearts. They weren't just kids sneaking off for an afternoon. They were protectors now, witnesses to something real. When they reached the cabin, everything was still. No sign of John, no sign of Keanu. But under the loose board on the porch, Noah found something. A letter, folded carefully, sealed with wax. It had one word on it, Hawks inside. The note was short. If you're reading this, then you've come back. Good. Stay that way. Stay curious. Stay kind. Stay brave. The world needs more Hawks. P.S. Check your mail next Friday. They stood in silence. What do you think it means? Malik asked. We wait, Tyler said. So they did. On Friday, 3 identical packages arrived at their homes. No return address. Same wax seal. Inside each was a leather-bound notebook and a small device that looked like a pager but newer, sleeker. The notebook had a name written on the inside cover, Operation Hawklight. Each notebook had different things written inside, codes, lists, challenges. But one page was the same in all 3. Step 1. Find someone who needs help. Step 2. Help without expecting anything in return. Step 3. Write down what happened. Step 4. Wait for the next signal. Is this a game? Noah asked. Or a test? Malik said. Tyler stared at the last line. Or maybe it's the beginning of something big. They spent the next week searching. Watching. Waiting for the right moment. And then it came. One afternoon, while walking home from school, they saw a boy they didn't know getting bullied near the old basketball court. 3 older kids pushed him, calling him names. The boy had a backpack covered in duct tape and was holding a broken book. Tyler stepped forward first. Hey, he shouted, leave him alone. The bullies turned. What are you gonna do about it? One said. Tyler didn't back down. Nothing. Unless you want to find out who watches these cameras, he said, pointing to the nearby pole. The bullies cursed under their breath and walked away. Malik and Noah ran up behind Tyler. They helped the boy to his feet. You okay? Malik asked. The boy nodded. Double quotes. Thanks, he said quietly. No one's ever stopped for me. Tyler smiled. You matter, don't forget that. They walked him home, helped fix his backpack, and even gave him one of their own old books. That night, Tyler wrote the whole thing in his notebook. When he closed it, the pager-like device lit up for the first time. A single word appeared on the tiny screen. Noted. The next morning, another package arrived. This one was bigger. Inside was a laptop. Preloaded with a private network. When they logged in, a message blinked. Welcome to the Hawklight Network. Across the screen appeared dozens of little icons. Each one marked a city. New York, Toronto, London, Istanbul, Mexico City. The map was alive. People were doing what they had done. Everywhere. Helping. Without fame. Without reward. Keanu hadn't just thanked them. He had included them. They were part of something global now. A quiet web of kindness. And they were no longer alone. Later that week, a video appeared on their screen. It was short. Keanu, sitting in a quiet room, wearing a hoodie, looking directly at the camera. You're doing well, he said. I knew you would. People think the world changes through big speeches and big heroes. It doesn't. It changes when someone picks up a bag for a stranger, when a kid stands up to a bully, when 3 boys in a forest say, let's help. He smiled. Keep going. I'll be watching. The screen faded to black. Noah whispered, he made this for us? Malik said, no, for everyone. And that night, they made a promise. Not to be perfect, not to be famous. But to stay brave. To stay kind. To stay Hawks. When kindness becomes a mission. It was just before sunrise when Tyler's pager lit up again. But this time, it didn't say noted. It said mission open. Beneath the words was a small blinking dot on the map. It wasn't far, only 20 minutes outside Evergreen Ridge, near a roadside gas station surrounded by woods. Tyler sat up in bed, heart racing. He texted Malik and Noah. Tyler, we've got a mission. Malik, I'm ready. Noah, meet you in 10. Bringing snacks. They met near the trailhead with their hawk pins clipped to their jackets. The air was cold, but the feeling inside was warm. They weren't playing anymore. They were part of something real. They reached the gas station just before 7 a.m. A woman stood near the payphone, crying. Her car hood was open. Steam hissed from the engine. She held a paper in one hand, a bus schedule. Her suitcase was on the ground beside her. Tyler approached slowly. Ma'am, he said gently. You okay? She looked up, startled, then tried to smile. Car's dead. Phone's dead. I'm trying to get to the next town. Job interview at 10. Need help? Malik asked. She hesitated. Then nodded. I hate to ask, but yes. Noah was already calling his dad, pretending the woman was a friend of his aunt who needed a ride. No questions asked. Within 15 minutes, she was in the back seat of Mr. Robinson's pickup, sipping tea from a thermos and holding a fresh resume printed at Tyler's house. They waved as the truck drove away. Noah whispered, "Think she'll get the job?" Tyler smiled. "I think she already won something." That night, the pager lit up again. This time, the message was different. "You've been noticed," and then a new message. "Stand by for next level." A week later, they received a box larger than any. Before inside was a dark green tablet with no brand name. When powered on, a secure login screen appeared. Once they entered their code, the screen lit up with a welcome message. Hawk Unit 9. Activity weren't just members now. They were part of a team. Inside the system were missions, each one different. Some asked them to leave notes of encouragement in schools. Others asked them to check on elderly neighbors. Some were anonymous. Others required coordination with other Hawk units around the world. It was a kindness network built in secret, not because it needed to hide, but because it worked best when quiet. Malik's favorite mission was the one they called the red mailbox. An old man in town had lost his wife 6 months earlier. Every day, he checked the mailbox, even though no one wrote him anymore. One day, Tyler slipped in a card. Just 5 words. "You are not forgotten." The next day, there were flowers on the porch. The next week, the old man smiled at the grocery store for the first time in months. Malik watched him from behind the shelf of cereal boxes and whispered, "We did that." Noah's favorite mission was when they replaced all the vandalized books in the school library. Using their own allowance, they worked for weeks doing chores around town, walking dogs, pulling weeds, helping carry groceries until they had enough. When they placed the books on the shelf, the librarian found a note. "For every story that was ruined, another is waiting to be read," Noah said. "That was the first time I felt bigger than myself." Tyler's favorite moment came on a quiet Sunday afternoon. His dad, who never paid much attention to his adventures, walked into his room holding one of the letters Keanu had sent. "What is this?" he asked, voice calm but curious. Tyler froze, then decided to tell the truth. He told everything. The forest, the rescue, Keanu, the Hawk network. His dad listened the whole time. Then, slowly, sat down. "You did something I never had the courage to do," he said. "What's that?" Tyler asked. "You showed up," he replied, "when someone needed you." They sat in silence for a while. And for the first time in years, Tyler felt like his dad saw him, not just as a kid, but as someone who mattered. Weeks passed. Missions continued. Some were small, like helping a classmate fix a project. Some were bigger, like organizing a food drive without anyone knowing it came from them. But one day, something new appeared on their screen. A live alert. Code 11, location 10 miles north, rural road. Injured traveler. They looked at each other. Noah whispered. "Again." Malik said, "Let's go." Tyler nodded. "Mountain Hawks, move out." They grabbed flashlights, bandages, extra snacks, and warm jackets. By sunset, they found a young man near a broken-down motorcycle. His ankle was swollen, his phone dead. No cars in sight. He laughed when he saw them. "You guys some kind of scout group?" Tyler replied. "We're just helpers." They carried him to the nearest house. Waited with him until help arrived. Before they left, the man looked up. "I'll pay this forward," he said. Tyler smiled. "That's all we ask." When they returned home, a video loaded onto their tablet. It was Keanu again. This time, he looked tired, but proud. "You don't know how much you've done," he said. "People think change comes from leaders, but it comes from moments. From 3 boys who say yes when everyone else walks away." He paused. "You've passed every test." The screen faded, and a new message appeared. "Final mission unlocked." The boys leaned in closer, because what came next would be the most important thing they'd ever face. The mission, only they could complete, began on a cold Saturday morning. The tablet's screen turned red for the first time. A single message blinked at the center. "Priority level. Critical Benneth. It were 3 words. Secure the message. Evie had never seen anything like it before. Malik whispered. What do you think it means? Noah leaned closer. Maybe something's gone wrong. Tyler's hands trembled slightly as he tapped to open the full alert. A map appeared. A blinking icon hovered over a small town 2 hours away, Pine Vale. Below it, the instructions were brief. A man will arrive by train at 6:35 p.m. He is carrying a message that cannot be lost. Meet him. Protect it. Do not share. Trust no one. Tyler looked at the clock. It was 12:02 p.m. We've got 6 hours, he said. Noah said. Do we bring the pins? Malik nodded. We bring everything. They packed their bags in silence. Not with fear. With focus. They didn't ask their parents for permission. They said they were sleeping over at Malik's. And by 2 p.m., they were on the road, biking down the highway's shoulder, taking the back trail that led to the Pinevale train station. By the time they arrived, the sun was starting to drop behind the mountains. The platform was quiet. Just a few benches, a ticket booth, and vending machines buzzing faintly. How will we know who he is? Noah asked. Tyler looked around. We'll feel it, he said. At exactly 6:35, the train rolled in. A soft metallic hum and a cloud of warm steam. People stepped off slowly. An elderly woman with flowers. A tired father with a sleeping baby. Then, a man in a brown coat stepped off, holding a plain leather satchel. He looked up and saw them. He didn't smile. He just nodded once and walked straight toward them. Hawks? He asked. Tyler nodded. Good, the man said. You're younger than I expected. He handed them the satchel. Don't open it. Don't stop. Go back to Evergreen Ridge. Someone will meet you tomorrow. Sunrise. Same place you found him? Malik asked. What's in the bag? Hope, the man replied. But also danger. Before they could ask anything else, he turned and disappeared into the train as it began pulling away again. The boys stood in silence, staring at the bag. It was heavy. Not in weight. In meaning. Tyler looked at them both. Let's move. They walked in silence through the darkening woods, the bag clutched tightly in Malik's hands. But before they reached the main trail, something moved behind them. A shadow, then a voice. Stop! A tall man stepped into the path. He wore a long coat and dark gloves. His eyes were cold. That bag isn't yours, he said. We were told to take it. Tyler said. Then you were told wrong. The man stepped forward. Malik stepped back, but then another figure appeared behind the man. This one familiar. Long hair. Soft eyes. Keanu Reeves. They're with me, he said. The man in the coat paused. Mr. Reeves, he said quietly. This isn't your fight. Keanu didn't blink. Then it's the right one. The man scowled and walked away without another word. Keanu turned to the boys. Are you okay? Tyler nodded. You knew this would happen? Malik asked. I knew something might, Keanu said. But I trusted you. He pointed to the satchel. Inside is a message written by people who believe the world still has a chance. It's not about money or politics. It's about building networks of trust. Your actions, your courage has earned you the right to deliver it. Deliver it where? Noah asked. Keanu smiled. Home. The next morning, just before sunrise, they arrived at the cabin in the woods. It looked the same. Except for the soft light inside. Keanu waited for them at the door. They handed him the satchel. He opened it slowly. Inside was a black envelope sealed with gold thread. He pulled out a single card. On it was one sentence. Build them younger. Lead them slower. Trust them deeper. Keanu looked up at them. This message is going to change everything, Tyler asked. What do you mean? Keanu folded the card and placed it back into the satchel. The Hawk program started as an idea. He said, to build kindness as a defense system, not weapons, not surveillance, just people helping people. You made that idea real, Malik whispered. So what now? Keanu stood. Now you help me train the next team. Over the next few months, everything changed. But quietly, the Hawk program expanded. Not as an organization, with rules and logos. But as a secret web of ordinary people doing extraordinary things. And Tyler, Malik, and Noah became guides. They trained new teams. They watched letters appear in mailboxes. They answered missions across towns and schools. But they never spoke publicly. They never posted online. They just stayed. Present. Watching. Helping. Quiet heroes. In a loud world. Years passed. The boys grew older. But they never stopped wearing the pin. Never stopped noticing people who needed a hand. Never stopped choosing to stay. One day, Tyler stood outside a college lecture hall. A boy was crying quietly on the steps. Tyler sat beside him. Said nothing at first. Then offered a bottle of water. The boy looked up. "Thank you," he said. Tyler nodded. "You matter," he said softly. And that's how it began again. A whisper. A wave. And in another part of the world, Keanu Reeves watched the Hawk Network grow. Not from fame. But from the soil of real kindness, rooted in one simple truth: the strongest thing you can be is there.